Our next speaker is Tuyet Dorau. Tuyet is a graduate of West High and the University of Iowa. She works for the University of Iowa's Department of Ophthalmology, coordinating multi-site clinical trials. Tuyet and her husband Mark have one son who is enrolled at West. She was elected to her first term on the school board in 2009.
Sorry, I'm sitting in between the two tallest candidates, and I'm the shortest one. Thank you, everyone. I'm just going to get right to it. I was one of the candidates one of the board members that voted against the facilities plan. I agreed with about 99% of that plan, and I'd actually talked through the course of my 4 years with many people about components of that plan. So I was really happy to see that that plan included a third high school. That plan included renovations and additions to Longfellow and to Mann. However, the biggest driving factor for me was some of the lessons that I've learned over the course of 4 years. And one of those biggest lessons that I've learned is that our community truly, truly values neighborhood schools. It doesn't matter where you go, whether it is Hoover, whether it's Grant Wood, whether it's Wickham, whether it's Lincoln, all of our neighborhoods value those neighborhood schools. And so when I thought about that, and I thought about all the community input that I've received over the course of the 4 years, my initial thought was, if we are going to close a neighborhood school, we really need to have strong justification for doing so. And we need to have that justification laid out to the community and to that school community in particular. I didn't think that we had done that, and I did not think that we had completely justified our rationale as a board. And so that's one of the reasons why I voted against closing Hoover and against that facilities plan. The other part of it is, when you look at Hoover, the population or the attendance at Hoover is around 360 students. About a third of those are sign-up transfers in, but they're still serving 360 some students at Hoover. It's a lot of students. And if you look at our FRL rates at Hoover, it's hovering around district average. So it's one of those schools that we've talked about, and the board has talked about in the diversity plan, is what we want to achieve. We already have it there. So why, in my opinion, would we take a school like that and move the students? Because we're already achieving what we want to achieve at that school. The academics are extremely stellar, just like they are in all of our schools. It is a vibrant community. It is in an area where we have great PR capabilities. When you go into a neighborhood and you see kids playing in a school, it helps out the community quite a bit. And I thought that, if we have a reason to close the school, we need to lay that out very clearly, because there were so many pros to keeping that school open. We just couldn't do it. The operational costs were cheaper keeping Hoover open. If you looked at our projections as far as open seats, when you looked at how many open seats Hoover would keep as compared to the enrollment that we were projecting, we were still looking at pretty tight enrollments compared to how many seats we would have. So that would mean if we closed Hoover, we would actually have less seats in our district, and potentially going back to those modulars and temporaries that we're trying to get away from. So it seemed counterproductive to me. And some people have said that I've flip-flopped, and I don't think that's true. I think it's important that we look at all of our schools, and I think it would be irresponsible if we don't look at what the finances are of operating of all of our schools. I think that if we don't ask those questions, we're not doing our job. We need the data to answer questions about what our schools are doing, how they're operating, and how we're best using the taxpayer dollar. If we don't ask those questions, again, we're being irresponsible. One of the first reasons why school boards were formed was for financial oversight of dollars. And that was one of the questions that I asked many years ago, and I continue to ask those questions. I think my record reflects that I am always looking for opportunities where we can balance our schools, where we can look at operational efficiencies, where we can look at what are we doing academically and extracurricularly for our students, and how are we making sure that there are equitable opportunities for all of our students district-wide. Thank you.